Hello there, everyone. Welcome to another episode here on Oxyotl, episode 26. So, I skipped a lot of turns, by the way. I skipped a lot of turns, and now we're fighting Arkhan the Black with a ton of units, actually. Good units for him, because he has some crit horrors, some nice mobility there, some dogs. Well, yeah, that's kind of sad to see, but some tomb guards, some criticals, and these criticals, I mean, 73 melee attack in poison. It's those guys are really damage dealers. So besides the settlement garrison, and he has some catapults as well, yeah, this is going to be a mess of a fight, actually. My reinforcements include Lord Croak, and that's it. That's all that I need, actually. I could just solo this with Lord Croak. No, I couldn't. He would die. But still, he does a tremendous amount of damage. Hopefully, I can actually deploy before he sends in units, and I cannot. So the idea was, of course, to form my typical lines. As I'm showcasing, I hope I didn't mess this presentation of the battle too much. But he started attacking me immediately. And Arkhan himself, with his flying chariot, comes in. Okay, is the chariot supposed to fly? I think that's a bug. Okay, but of course, he's sending in against my chameleon stalkers and my Croxigors a lot of hex rates and chariots, which really is not how you want to go. I'm gonna destroy them very easily, actually. And the biggest problem is the tomb guards that are arriving. Tomb guards are always a big problem. Spears, these crypt ghouls, of course. So Lord Croak needs to do some level of damage. I think he was focused on somewhere else, but yeah, he's trying to limit the enemy where possible. This was like on top of an archer or 2 units. So yeah, that's 2 units of archers destroyed, and a spear. It's not a lot of damage, but it's a lot of kills, and I needed to ensure that. So over here, I think everything is fine, because I can just heal up that clump and use the shields, so I'm feeling pretty fine. And my chameleon skinks are destroying Arkhan. On this side of things, I just split up everything that I could to destroy, you know, my Carnosaurs destroying a Skeletor Horseman. That's just fine. Some Secret Croxigors going after a Tomb Prince. That's okay. Over here we have a better matchup for the AI. Temple Guard versus the Tomb Guard with halberds. They're about equally matched. Honestly, they have about the same stats. Tomb Guard, of course, slightly weaker, but they do remain in combat after, you know, being routed, let's say, because of how the undead remain. So I guess it's kind of like even. So let's destroy a couple more units, Croak, shall we? I don't think this was the most powerful. I think it was the medium one. So he has 3 of them, so yeah. And currently he's with 3,893. Okay, you paid for yourself, that's okay. He's paid for himself, actually. So overall, a lot of activities here. Let me skip a little bit ahead. And right now, the biggest problem with these big battles is how the AI receives reinforcements, because you cannot choose which units received are received as reinforcement. That will be such an improvement. Currently, I do believe there's no point bringing more than 2 armies. I'll make an example of that in the next episodes, because of course what will come in is the lords and heroes and the infantry units and the missile units, and maybe other monsters and cavalry or anything like that stays behind. And unless you withdraw the units, you're not going to receive them. And the same thing happens to the AI. So you're going to fight a lot of infantry early on, and then he's going to start getting all the missiles. Like right now, he's getting the catapults. And I'm sending my Dreadsaurian trying to destroy the catapults, but there's a lot of damage there. And I don't notice that, yeah, that Shredder of Lustria has a lot to shred, but he's going to be shredded himself. Okay, let's make Lord Croak win a little bit. How much are you now? 6,000. Okay, that's okay. I should have used here next to him, but I know that I still have a few to use. So I think I used the shield there like 3 times, not joking. That whole blobbing. It's not my favorite way of playing. I often dislike blobbing and I prefer to not do that. By the way, these Ushabti managed to completely rout the Shred of Lustria. I should have sent the Carnosaur instead against the Tomb King. I should have sent him against those guys. And suddenly he has like a couple of units that can destroy me there. So I thought I have to quickly go for army losses here, or else I'm gonna have a problem. So I know that I'm gonna try to use one here, even if it is a small one, from Lord Croc. There we go. There we go. There we have it. So definitely Lord Croc is going to do what we need. But of course taking advantage of the blobbing. And there were a lot of characters, and that's the big reason why this happened. I'm sending back the Shred of Lustria because he's focusing down other units like these Tomb Gods. Then all that I want is the pressure. Because if not mistaken, as soon as the Shredder arrives to the catapults, he's gonna rout. Because these units, the fact that they are under no influence whatsoever, under no threat whatsoever, is the problem here. And that's what is keeping him fighting, actually. So, Shredder, where are you going? Okay, this Carnosaur. Let me watch my T-Rexes. I mean, this is supposed to be a T-Rex or Ankylosaurus or something like that. And they don't do as much. They're not as big as the Shredder, you know, as those units. So, can you imagine? They look like they're kids. But they work really well together. Shredder just being an overall missile bait, and the Carnosaurs then can do a lot of damage to other entities. So I managed to lose nothing, no unit, but that was good. 752 kills on Lord Croak, of course. Of course, he does a lot of damage. But yeah, you can see that his missile units are responsible for most of the damage. His infantry, not a lot actually. And the Shredder did some good value, 7,900. You do note that I wasn't exactly picking as valuable targets. I was picking anything that was blobbed up. So yeah. This felt good, actually. This felt like a nice battle to showcase to you guys. A little bit. And now we have yet another, but this one is an auto-resolve, and that's a settlement garrison, so yeah, that's okay. So what is the outcome so far? I began, of course, the war, when I began the war against Arkhan, I knew that it would take quite some time. I thought I skipped a lot more turns, I only skipped one. Ooh. Okay. I think it's not on this episode. Or actually is. My apologies. I will skip during this episode. Oh, sorry. Because I'm a little bit ahead, you know, in terms of the scheduling. So I was like, I'm fairly certain that on episode 26 I skipped a lot of turns. But yeah. Now the big problem is the vampire counts, the greenskins, and the others, the Tomb Kings are all going to have their endgame armies in 25 turns. It should have been 10, but I would have been better prepared, but I think 25 turns gives me time to like almost defeat some of these factions, so that's good. I'll be likely able to defeat you know, Arkhan the Black before he comes in. And I have to be careful with the alliances or anything like that I have, because that will create some problems. I really just want to confederate whenever possible, and it will happen, by the way, because of course as my power grows, the lizardmen do like that. Lizardmen are very drawn to whoever has the most power, you know. Sorry, just drinking some coffee. So I want to go and break through. And overall, I feel like I've done pretty well. So I'm going to skip a little bit ahead here. I'm going to try to destroy the clan Moors as well. And I believe I destroy him within this episode. So this army is going to cover all that territory. I've conquered a little bit more. I'm going to conquer the Black Pyramid. And yeah, I'm going to make a small video about sieges, what I would like to see changed. But I can talk a little bit about that. Of course, everyone likes or wants the typical changes, like let's ensure that pathfinding is there. I've made even a poll and pathfinding was what won. So pathfinding and deployment situations, those are quite basics. Then something to do with the ladders, please. CA has stated that with the ladders they cannot remove them entirely, but of course some limitations can happen, and as long as they don't hinder the AI from playing Siege as well. But my biggest one, I feel like I'm going to talk about it, is campaign-wise. I would like for some capital, beating the capital of an enemy should be a lot more important, and it should give you like a dilemma in terms of diplomacy or anything like that. That would help you going for that, because that in essence is something important. Yeah, I want the upkeep because of course I'm going to have the armies here recruiting. I'm going to put Karakazgol as something to be recruiting armies. So yeah, that should be fine. Now, confederation between Wisseland and Nuln and Reichland. So certainly they're like what? Strength rank 1? Yeah. Look at those that confederated. Ugh. And I'm rank 6 after Glen Scryer. Wow. That is good. I'll become rank 1 very soon, very soon. But yeah, there's a lot of good factions here. I'll talk about the siege in a video, so don't worry guys. My views are basically about the same, except that I really want stuff done in terms of campaign. So, just building up a little bit. Most of the buildings that I'm going to do is exactly what you saw there, just something that gives me income from all buildings, or that gives me income, and I'm going to focus then down that a lot, because I've achieved long victory. All that I want right now is full map domination, and it's going really well and well. I'm already conquering Ulthuan by the time that I'm talking to you guys, so yeah. Let me continue the siege. I kind of want them to attack me to see if that would create any effect. So, Karak Azul. Karak Azul. I need some heroes here. There we go, a confident one. Why not? I really wanted those that lord with 4 iron breakers. I mean, no better front line for you. Not that I need it as the lizardman, but it's always nice to have something different, I still have the visions of the old ones. I gotta be careful with the visions of the old ones, and always, because Oxyotl, for instance, right now is sieging, so I cannot go over to those visions right now. Otherwise, I'll remove what needs be. So, settlement garrison of clan rats. That's poor. Let's destroy these buildings. I want generally just stuff that gives me income. So I get... Yeah, this is a quality of life. Please, CA, give me this quality of life. Can I see the army while I'm here? By the way, I'm checking on my preferred army, and I just opened it on the secondary monitor just because it's easier for me to go like, oh, Otali, he has these units, let me buff them. Let me check if the red line skills are there. So can I see the army while I'm in the skills, deciding which skills to add to the heroes and lord of that army? Please, that would be a great quality of life, thank you. That would be quite a change. So yeah, loot and occupy, they attacked me actually, which was interesting. One thing that you notice is that I'm not necessarily building anything that would go towards having garrisons, for instance. Garrisons is not something that I'm gonna need too much, mostly because of how I'm focusing more on armies and just making this sort of wall with my armies. And as long... Oh, I can get the Confederation. Yeah, who else? Oh, I can get the confederation with a Oxyotl. Hello, Mazda Mundi. Come over. 17 settlements. There we go. There was a time in Warhammer 2 where you could gain money from this. Okay, and there's a bunch of armies there. Hold on. No, I don't want to initiate diplomacy with you guys. Eventually I want to kill you. At this point, actually, in the campaign. You still don't see it, but yeah, I'm already managing to get over. Oh, 25 deal trails, man. The Daughters of the Forest really love me. I can even get trade with Valkyria. Oh. Alright, some alliances possible, but I'm not fond of getting alliances, just with the Lizardmen in this case, yeah? Let's get with Gorok. Yeah. Okay. Nothing discovered by allying with Gorok. No, nothing. Legion of the Gorky. Well, I'm going to use Valkyria to declare war on everyone else. So, lots of provinces secured, and I'm going to have to go for a confederation. 100,000 in less income. Oh, okay. So there's going to be a lot of the leading units. What I'm going to focus on is first buildings. Check which buildings and make sure that all the better buildings are done. Then check for blessed units or specific units like RORs or anything like that to leave them in the armies, or any difficult units to build up, like Swords or like Dreadsaurians, for instance. And check with the armies. And yeah, I'm going to save before doing this, actually, just so that I can do at least a little bit of deleting. And finally I managed, so there's a lot of blessed units here. Tepchik has a full army. This was from the other ones. It's a little bit more organized. There's two ways of doing this confederation. Either you send all the armies and you're about in a war and you manage to have some good positioning for this, or you don't and you just go and you have to delete a lot of armies. So either you can use them to send in a direction and with the loot it's fine, or you don't. Okay. Now, yeah, I forgot about it. One other thing that you have to check is to ensure that you reset the skills. Okay, this was not happening in Warhammer 2, so sometimes I forget that we have it. So resetting the skills for the most important characters, at least, for instance, this one, yeah, it's kind of fine. I would have gone into Redline first, but it's kind of fine. I don't mind having it like that. And so resetting the skills, making sure that I have cohesive armies, instead of one of each kind in an army, which I don't like. And then the final one is items. So you have to check after configuration buildings, make sure that all the proper buildings are done, according to what your plan is. Like destroy the buildings that are not important, decide whether you want to keep military buildings or not, the sort of situation. I'm destroying a lot of military buildings because I just want income. And then with the second one is units, just destroy any units, disband any units, or send the armies to their deaths. Whatever you can, depends on how many, of course. Then the third one is skills for the lords, just double check them. And the fourth one is items and ancillaries, because you're going to get a lot of items, and right now you can fuse a lot of items, and that was done off camera. That is going to be off camera, but I just wanted to reveal to you how it typically works. So after this confederation, that'll be it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll just be doing and building stuff, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye bye.